I'm Chad Evan Collins, and this is the Marketing on Demand show. I set out to answer the $1,000,000 question. What is the biggest needle mover in your business, and what drives people to buy faster than anything else? Through selling over $30 million of my own products and services and setting 2 Guinness World Records for ticket sales along the way, I discovered how to move the needle consistently and quickly. If you're a marketer, e-commerce seller, entrepreneur, or founder, join me as I reveal my exact strategies and see what today's smartest business leaders are doing right now to explode their sales. Do you want to learn how to boost your sales using these methods? Text the word DEMAND to 90851. That's DEMAND to 90851. Now, here's the show. Welcome back, everyone, to the Marketing on Demand show. Chad Evan Collins here. And I wanted to take some time this episode to fill you guys in on my origin story, why I'm so passionate about marketing, how we've used it in our businesses, and what my primary business really has been at the time of this recording for the last 6 or so years. And I'd like to start off by thanking you for being here, thanking you for wanting to learn more about the philosophy that we're going to talk a lot about here at the Marketing on Demand show. But I want to take you back to 2012 or 2013. And how we really got started with this whole thing. Now, the primary business that we've run for the last 6 or so years has been the live events business. We produce these massive family events that attract 8 to 20,000 attendees a weekend to our shows. And they're in the family entertainment space. So we have an event called Brickfest Live, which is a Lego fan experience. We have a Minecraft event called Minefaire. We have a Comic-Con for kids. And we've run an event called Young Innovators Fair, which is like a science and tech expo. And it all started back, the first live event was back in 2014, but it really all started with YouTube. See, my daughter, who was 7 years old at the time, had asked me to create a YouTube channel with her after I brought home some Lego from the Lego store one day. A friend of mine at work asked me to go to lunch with him. We go to the mall, and there's a Lego store just across the food court. I saw out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, man, like I was huge into Lego growing up. Like, can we go into that store? And we walked into the store. And if any of you have kids or you've been to a Lego store, you know at the back of the store, there are like all of these bins, like these plastic bins that are filled with the same type of Lego pieces. And you could take a cup that they have and fill it with as many Lego bricks as you can. And then you buy the cup, and then you could free build. So it's like different than just buying like a set that you would build. You could just buy bulk Lego basically. And I had always wanted to do that as a kid, but I never had the opportunity. There wasn't a way to just get like 1,000 of the same piece, for instance, right? If you wanted to build like a giant house and you needed, 2,000-3,000 of like one Lego element, you couldn't just buy that. It was impossible. But now suddenly I see that this is very possible. And the kid in me filled up a few cups and brought them home and shared them with my daughter. And we started, building Lego when we started like building our own stuff. And then I didn't know this, but like after I left the room, she went on her iPad and typed in Lego into YouTube and started watching YouTube videos with other people, playing Lego. And she showed it to me and asked, hey, Dad, can we create a YouTube channel together? And like, of course, I was like, yeah. And like a lot of us, I knew YouTube from a content consumption standpoint, not necessarily a content creation standpoint, but I felt like, how difficult could this be? And I get to have a lot of fun with my daughter at the same time. So we literally, like later that night, set the iPad up, like leaned the iPad against the couch, sat in our pajamas on my living room floor and started talking about the Lego that I brought home from the Lego store. And the second video that we posted was about how to fill, like how to get the most Lego bricks into a cup. Like if you stack the Lego bricks a certain way, like how you can get the most into a cup. So like the engineer in me was like, oh yeah, there's got to be a way to get, the most bang for your buck, right? You don't want to waste money. If you spend a little bit of time and you stack the Lego bricks together, you can save a little bit of money. So I thought, hey, it would be cool if I did a video about this with my daughter. Now, here's the interesting part about this. I actually found plans online that someone posted about this stacking, strategy, right? The stacking of the Lego brick strategy. But there wasn't any YouTube video about it. And I thought, hey, let's create a YouTube video. Now, in the Lego community, and I didn't even know this at the time, but there's a pretty big Lego community, and it's comprised of not only kids, but even adult Lego fans. And that video was shared a lot within the community, got lots of views. And then the comments started coming in like, hey, when are you guys making your next video? So right off the bat, we felt compelled to keep creating content. And I think it was like the third or fourth video that we put up was about a storage system, like a Lego storage unit, like usually that you would use tools for. I remember the brand, it was called Acro Mills. And we got these Acro Mills cases off Amazon. And we did a review of how many bricks, how many pieces of Lego you could fit in each one of these little drawer containers. And I remember it was like 2-3 weeks later, I got an email from the Acro Mills company, and our video had been circulating through the walls, through the walls of their company. And then they actually sent us a bunch of cases for free. And then the president of the company sent Jordan, my daughter, a $50 gift card to Toys R Us so we could go buy more Lego. Like, how cool is that? So this was like within the first 5 videos that we put up, it was like people are asking us to make more content. The second video we ever posted has like 10,000 views. And now these companies are just like sending us stuff. And we're this nobody little channel. So clearly, I was thinking, wow, there's really something to this. There's something to YouTube. And over the course of the next 18 months, we put up over 500 videos and accumulated 12 million views on our channel. And along the way, we got to meet some really cool people. We got to meet other Lego builders. We got to communicate with other companies that had different products and services to sell that we would feature on our channel. And along the way, we did get approval to run ads on our channel. It's not something that just happened right away. It's not like you could sign up tomorrow and start running ads on your YouTube channel. It was like a milestone that we had to reach for us to start serving ads. And I remember like going on Google and searching, how to monetize and how much money do you make when you monetize on YouTube. And the truth of the matter is, unless you're really getting like millions and millions and millions of views on your videos, like every single day or every single month, the monetization isn't anything you're going to be able to live off of. Very few people are able to create full-time incomes just from the content that they produce on YouTube. But that said, in the prime of that YouTube channel, I think we were maybe the most we ever got a check sent to us for in 1 month was maybe like $1,000 or $1,200 from Google, and that was really cool. And that we ran that for like I said, 18 months, and what we really wanted to do was go to a Lego event and show people that they could be in a room of people just enthusiastic about Lego as they are. And I knew there were these Lego conventions out there, and we're from Philadelphia. So I thought, being from the Philadelphia area, we could go to a show. We could interview some of the attendees that are there. We could interview the exhibitors, the Lego builders, and we would have all this content for our channel. And it turned out that the closest show was actually several states away. There wasn't any Lego event in the Philadelphia area. And that's really when the light bulb moment hit, was if there isn't a show here and there's all this enthusiasm about Lego, maybe we should create a show here in the fifth biggest market of the country, Philadelphia. So I went back to this audience that we built on YouTube, and we went to the vendors that have sent us stuff to review, and we basically said, if we created a Lego convention in Philadelphia, would you participate? And of course, the resounding answer was yes. So that set us off on this path of, all right, well, now we have to find a venue. We need to, learn how to advertise. We need to learn how to sell tickets. We need to really become like an events company. The thought at the time was, I still had a full-time job, and the thought was, we'll do this one event one time a year. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll all be able to hang out this one weekend a year celebrating Lego. And that'll be it. Well, what turned out to happen is we stumbled across some marketing techniques, and we ended up attracting over 24,000 people to the very first show in 2014. Now, of course, along the way, that all these people are going to be showing up, but the roller coaster of getting to that point was amazing. And it planted the idea, the seed that was, well, if we could do one event where 24,000 people are going to show up, what if we did this someplace else? So even before we held the first event, I went and found a second venue and put tickets on sale for the second show. And we were starting to see similar results. And that was the moment when I was able to have that conversation with my wife and say, there might be something to this. This might be something that I'll be able to focus on full time. And with her support, I did just that. So a couple of months before we actually launched the first show, I was working full time on growing this new business. Now, that first year, we did 5 Brickfest live events. I think we did Philadelphia, New Jersey. We did Baltimore. We did a second show in Philadelphia, and then we did West Palm Beach. And that, I think there was like Cleveland or Cincinnati was in the mix somewhere with these shows too. But that was all in 2014. Now I want to fast forward from 2014 through 2020, as I'm recording this now here in early September of 2020, we've produced over 100 live events across all the different brands that I spoke about. And we've sold over 1 million tickets to our shows. We've been able to have membership sites where we had a monthly membership box that went out every month for Lego fans. And at our Minecraft events, we had a very large merchandise store that we built and sold official Minecraft merch to all of the attendees that wanted a keepsake at the end of the event. We've learned how to sell sponsorships, how to sell exhibit space and booths, negotiate with venues. I mean, you name it, full service. One of the cool components, though, of the business, and I think what set us apart from a lot of other event production companies is, yes, of course, we produced the shows, we delivered on our promise. We had an event production team that literally would travel the country. We're doing, 20 or so shows a year. And in some instances, we're doing them week after week after week. We've even done, multiple shows on the same weekend several times. But you need that engine, that marketing engine that runs in-house, that's going to keep the lights on, right? It's going to keep selling those tickets. We're going to be educating all of the new audience, the community that's coming in, and nurturing them and letting them know what they can expect at these events that they signed up for and that they bought tickets to. So while we did have an event production arm of the company, we also had a marketing arm of the company. And it was my responsibility to run that side of the business. And, I would refer to it oftentimes as our in-house digital marketing agency, because I knew that at scale, we were actually doing way more business. We were doing way more marketing function just for our business than many marketing agencies do that support lots of businesses. And it's been a ton of fun. And look, as I record this during this COVID pause of live events, it's given me an opportunity to step back and really look back and think what has had the biggest impact on our business over the last 2 or 3 years. And I look back on it from a marketing standpoint. I'm talking strictly now from a marketing standpoint. I look at it from a marketing standpoint and I think, we've used like wait list tactics, something I'll go into detail in a future episode, something I've called like the Billy Joel method, where, you sign up for a wait list before someone actually gets access to buy, and you nurture them along the way. And we've used, scarcity and urgency tactics. We've leveraged text message marketing, and we've done lead gen on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I mean, you name it. Spent millions of dollars on those platforms to generate millions of dollars of sales, of course. But we've done it. We've done it well. We've done it in ways where other businesses haven't. And I'm a perpetual learner in the space. And what I know now is that the learning that I've done from a lot of the internet marketers out there, been able to apply them to a business that had nothing to do with internet marketing. I think so often we see marketers out there, whether we're scrolling through Facebook or maybe we're listening to a podcast or we're seeing an ad on YouTube, and really it's someone teaching you how to sell a course or how to make money online. And it's interesting because like this loop happens where someone's going to teach you, you're going to buy a course from someone that teaches you how to quote, like make money online. And then they just teach you how to sell a similar course to sell someone else about how to make money online, even though they've never really done it themselves. And I want to let you know that I'm coming at this from a perspective of lots of success. I'll just give you a couple of examples. Our events, our Minecraft events, we set our own 2 Guinness World Records. In 2016, we set a record. We sold 12,000 tickets to our inaugural Minefaire. That was the most tickets ever sold to an event for a single video game. So the video game, of course, being Minecraft. We sold 12,000 tickets to that one event. We beat the record that Microsoft held. That was 10,000 tickets to an event that they held called Minecon. A couple of years later, we sold out the LA Convention Center and sold 18,000 tickets to that show. We beat our own Guinness World Record. Now, when I say, we won Guinness World Records, we legitimately had Guinness on site to certify the world records, right? I know this is a podcast and you can't see pictures, but we do have photographic evidence and all of those things. And when you have success like that, it opens other doors. For instance, most of you listening probably know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, but Gary asked me to be in his latest book, Crushing It, because of the work that we've done. So Jordan, my daughter, Jordan and I were featured in his most recent book, Crushing It. And of course, when you have success like that, there's also like the impact part, which enables you to do some really cool stuff. I'll tell you a story. I was asked to speak at an event put on by a friend of mine, Ryan Lee. He put on an event called Freedom Fest back in 2015, asked me to speak. And again, at that point, maybe I had run 3-4 events. We had just launched our membership service. And I was talking about that, but there was another guy that took the stage who you may have heard of, named Stu McLaren. Stu got up there, talked about membership stuff. He has a program called Tribe, but that really wasn't even launched yet. And at one point, he started talking about the charity work that he does, building schools in Kenya. And at that time, I had been thinking, wow, I'd wanted to start a charity called Wish for Bricks, actually. I think I still own the domain names, wishforbricks.org. And the idea behind Wish for Bricks was to bring Lego to underprivileged, underserved communities and underprivileged kids that couldn't afford Lego, because Lego, as you know, can be expensive. But as soon as I heard Stu's story, I was like, wow, wouldn't it be cool one day to just like bring a bunch of Lego to these kids in Kenya that have never experienced it before? Like, I know what Lego did for me as a kid, like how it reprogrammed my brain to like problem solve, because you're building with Lego and it's almost like a puzzle, like every step of the way that you're trying to solve. And my wife and I approached Stu after that event, and we were like, you know what, we would love to participate in your charity. We're not ready just yet, but one day we want to. And it was several years later, actually, I was at a mastermind event with Ryan Levesque, and he said, Chad, what's next? Like, what do you really want to do with some of the success that you're having? I said, I really just I want to do something with Stu's charity. I'd love to help build a school and bring a bunch of Lego to these kids in Kenya. And Ryan Levesque, by the way, is a Lego fan. If you watch the summit, if you watch the Marketing on Demand Summit, I did, we had a roundtable. It was me, Ryan Levesque, Pat Flynn. We just all talked about Lego and the marketing tactics that Lego uses and how we could apply them to our business. It was a really great session. Maybe I'll upload it here so you guys could listen to that at some point. But anyway, so Ryan and I have this conversation outside at dinner one night. And then the next day he approaches the whole mastermind group and says, let's do something as a group together. Chad and I were talking outside, and if anyone's interested, we'd like to see if we can participate in Stu McLaren's charity and build a school in Kenya. And we did. We were able to raise enough with that group to build a school. And then I was able to bring my entire family out there. We brought 200 pounds of Lego with us to Kenya. And it was incredible. It was one of those moments, one of those experiences that are not only unforgettable, but also really great lessons that we were able to learn together as a family. And kudos to Stu and Amy McLaren for, for the hard work that they do in facilitating that every year, not only for the donors, but more importantly for the communities in which they serve there in Kenya. So that was one cool thing that we were able to do. And then I want to tell you about another thing, that we were able to do last year with another organization that's near and dear to my heart. I told you that I'm from the Philadelphia area. I'm a huge sports fan, and the Philadelphia Eagles are number one. My son and I have season tickets. We go to Eagles games every single home game, even some away games. And this story is interesting because it shows that like you never know, right? Like you never know who you're going to meet, when you're going to meet them, what you're going to look like when you meet someone, like at what point you're going to bump into someone. And it just goes to show, like in any moment, something really powerful can happen. And that's why I really I will share the story with you, and then we'll wrap this episode. But the Philadelphia Eagles, after they won the Super Bowl, they made the playoffs the next year, and they were having a game in New Orleans. I love New Orleans. My wife and I go to Jazz Fest almost every year. But this time the Eagles are playing in New Orleans. I was able to get tickets right behind the Eagles bench. And it was just me and my son. So me and my son, Luke, and we go to the Eagles game. And of course, Luke, he wants to get in like as soon as the gates open. So we're like first in line, like an hour before the gates open. We get all the way down there. We get to our seats, and we're standing on the rail, and the players are starting to come out for warm-ups. And this gentleman walks up to us and puts his hand out, introduces himself over the rail, and says, "Hi, my name is Don Smolinski. I'm the president of the Philadelphia Eagles." And I was like, "Oh, great to meet you, Don. This is my son, Luke." And he reaches into his pocket and he hands Luke a commemorative Super Bowl coin, which is super cool. And then as uh, as Luke is looking at the coin, he takes his Super Bowl ring off of his finger and hands it to me so I could see like and hold the real championship ring that they were issued after they won the Super Bowl. So what a thrill that was. And there were all these other Eagles fans that were around, and he was okay with the ring being passed around so all the Eagles fans could see it and take a picture. And while that commotion was happening, he kind of motioned down to me and whispered in my ear, said, "Hey, I've got 2 field passes if you and your son want to come down and watch warm-ups from the field." Like, wow. Like, yeah. I was like, "Luke, what do you think?" And of course he's ecstatic. And just so you know what we look like at this point, like Luke is like wearing a ski mask because like one of the things that was going on in Philly at the time, it was called like ski mask season, which is like a theme that the team was doing. So you couldn't really even see Luke's face. He's all decked out wearing like New Orleans style Eagles beads. I mean, we just look like super fans. And we go down onto the field, and I said, Luke, I said, at some point we have to send Don a thank you letter for sending, for letting us come down here onto the field, for giving us these passes. And like the minute I said that, Don Smolinski walked behind me and said, "Hey, it looks like you guys got a really good spot down here." And I said, "Oh, man, I was just telling Luke, like we're going to send you a thank you letter." And then off he went, and we go home, and, we print out some pictures. And a couple of weeks later I said, "Hey, Luke, let's send that thank you letter to Mr. Smolinski." So I write a letter, and I was looking up, some causes that were near and dear to Don's heart. And he was on the board of the Eagles Autism Foundation. So, and we had our live event. We had Brickfest Live coming up in Philly. So I got a bunch of tickets, and I sent them to Don with a thank you letter and a picture of me and Luke at the game. So he'd remember. And a couple of weeks after that, he emailed me and said, "Hey, Chad, thanks so much for the tickets. Actually we're putting together a sensory room inside Lincoln Financial Field. That's where the Eagles play. And, there's always the correlation between Lego and autism. And it would be really, something if we could, can I put you in touch?" He asked me, "Is it okay if I put you in touch with the executive director of the Eagles Autism Foundation?" I said, "Of course." Ryan Hammond, by the way, is her name. So Ryan and I get on the phone, we chat, we end up going down to the link to see their state of the art sensory room. And we start ideating about what we could do here, like what would be really cool. And they had this big empty space on the wall. And we thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could build like a Eagles football field out of Lego and put it on the wall? And at our events, we have these build walls where people can just, it's kind of like, imagine if you had like Lego on your wall and you could just like build onto it, and you could like write whatever you wanted out of Lego on your wall. Like think about it like fridge magnets, but it's just like Lego that you're connecting to your wall. So I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we could build a football field, and then kids could come in, and then we would have Lego, and then they could just take the Lego and add to the football field that we put on this wall. And she's like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome." And a couple of months later, it was like right before the first, I think it was either the first preseason game or it was the open practice. It was the open practice that they had at the link last season for the start of the 2019 season. I think the weekend before that, or maybe a couple days earlier, we went there, we installed this Lego, we built and installed this Lego football field. And I remember like right after that event happened and we delivered this, my family and I, we left for vacation. We were in Italy, and I remember we were at this Airbnb in Italy, and I turn on my phone and I go to CNN, and the top story on CNN was the Philadelphia Eagles have created the first ever sensory room in a professional football stadium. And the photograph that they used was of the Lego Philadelphia Eagles football field that we had just installed there just a couple of days later, or a couple of days earlier. And those are the things that is like, you never, like I said, you never know. I mean, we met Mr. Smolinski and we were all decked out. We looked like crazy super fans. And then it turns out that, we exchanged a couple of emails and a couple of phone calls. And the next thing you know, we're able to have such an impact on the, locally on the autism community, the Eagles fans that also have autism. So if they're at a game and they need a break from the action to go somewhere, they can go somewhere, and there's Eagles themed stuff, and then there's Lego for them. And they can have a better time. They don't have to leave the stadium, to leave the game. They could just go there. And we had a little small hand in making that a reality. So anyway, the reason I tell you those stories is because I want you to know that here at the Marketing on Demand show, you're in the right place. This isn't a place where I'm ever going to bring on a guest that is going to be that huckster or someone that you can't trust. This is a place where the marketing tactics and strategies we talk about will be safe. The guests that we bring on are going to be sharing from the heart, and they already have proven track records of success, and they have proven frameworks that work that we could follow and learn from. And I'm excited to learn with you as we go through and learn and bring these guests on. So there will be some episodes where it's just going to be me telling you specific stories, marketing stories, different lessons that have happened that I'll always bring back to business and what we could learn from. And then other times we're going to have guests on and we're going to learn from them. And I'm going to be the person that is going to ask the questions and extract the information that you are going to want to have extracted so we can have some actionable steps thereafter. So with that, I think we've gone for about a half an hour with this episode. And I just want to thank you for being here. And I can't wait to continue to hang out. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Talk soon. Hey, real quick, if you enjoyed this episode, please let me know by rating this podcast and leaving me an honest review. If you found this episode useful for your business, take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram at chadcollins.me and use hashtag marketingondemand. That way I'll be able to see it and repost it. I also created a guide of the top 40 ways people are using marketing on demand strategies and tactics in their businesses. And I want you to have it for free. Just text GUIDE, GUIDE, to 90851 and I'll get it right over to you on demand. Until next time, I'm Chad Evan Collins, and this has been the Marketing on Demand Show.